Welcome, everybody. It's time to start off our third matchup of the day here on the main stream, Nicholas.
Yes, sir.
The main stream.
A-stream, baby.
Better than the other stream, if I say so myself. Wolves versus W7M, the two teams that both have W in their name in this group. And both of them also sit on top of their group at the moment.
Very close.
Both are very close to clinching a spot to move out of the group as well, depending on what goes up with the matchups today and how Gaming Gladiators and Oxygen do, frankly.
Yeah. Currently, we got 6 points on W7M and 5 points on Wolves. And we got map bans right over there ready for you.
I feel like the camera's staring right into my soul right now, and you're staring right into my soul. Where are we going?
Chalet.
It's cold there.
It is cold.
How nice that would be.
It would be very nice. It's not very cold here, that's for sure. We got snow and whatnot.
Is it even possible for France to have snow anymore?
Probably not.
Probably not.
not.
All right, well, let's go there. It's hot here.
Send it.
It's hot here. Guess where it's not hot?
Chalet.
Chalet, that is correct. For a fleeting second, I thought you said Charlotte.
Charlotte.
These community polls, they're really sleeping on W7M, Nick, I gotta say. Again, W7M on the wrong side of the community poll.
Weird,
that is
man.
a little bit, yeah, that's a little bit odd, but
They'll
here we
learn.
are. They'll learn one day.
This game in particular could be a great opportunity for that to be the turning point for the fans, because this is a fan favorite in Wolves against, I guess, the non-favorite of W7M. First ban comes out, you got Wolves on attack, W7M on the defensive side, and Sledge actually going off the board first. A target ban specifically tailored for this matchup, as Sledge does not ever get banned on this map in pretty much any scenario.
I like seeing the Sledge ban. Nomad also banned out, okay, but interesting.
Interesting.
That's on the Reddit bingo, wasn't it? It was like when casters say interesting 3 times in one match or something
Yeah,
like that.
that bingo was kind of good, though. I like that. There's a
Yeah,
couple
it
of
was.
things.
It's quite funny.
I had a thing on there. It was like make a Twitter controversy or whatever. About
Yeah, Pengu says
regions.
Pengu tweets something stupid or something like that, and it creates a controversy.
Haven't done that yet. Day 2, baby. Keeping it up.
You've been very good.
Yeah.
You've been very good at managing
Learning.
not saying silly things on Twitter, I suppose.
Yeah.
Azami and Valkyrie, the other two bans. One of the things that we have ready for you at some point, will be popping up, I assume, on the lower portion of the monitor, will be probabilities
True.
of teams clinching their spots. I don't believe there is any team that is able to 100% clinch their spot yet. I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
The closest would be Elevate.
I think Elevate,
3-0,
yes.
and they've yeah.
And they're
Elevate
3-0 in regulation
Yes,
as well.
yes.
So if Elevate wins today, and there it is, look at that. If Elevate wins today, they might be able to clinch. So if W7M wins, they have a 95% chance in regulation. A regulation loss for Wolves gives them a 60% chance still. Yes.
Okay. So, in easy terms, winning regulation is pretty good.
Yeah. A regulation win for either of these teams. A regulation win for either of these teams means they basically clinch. The probability of the team that wins in regulation, or even in overtime, of not making it into the main event on Friday, very, very low. Statistically improbable, Nick.
Statistically I think the blue bar around the numbers pad under off your screen now is like, basically it's like this game and the next game they have today. Like they can basically get that result today.
Right.
So because there's 2 games today.
Yeah, because if W7M wins just this match,
Yeah.
they're at 95%.
Yes. But then they have 1 more game to go later.
Correct.
And then they'll probably skyrocket, you know? So
Correct.
yes.
Because while you're at 95%, you win your next match. This is the toughest match for these teams on paper today.
Yes.
Right? Because they're playing the top 2 teams each. Then it'll be Gaming Gladiators and Oxygen as their opponents coming up. So, obviously, you square off against a team of 6 points, which is W7M, who are in first place, versus Wolves, who are in second. Nice shot by GDN, by the way, to start things off. P4 gets one right back onto Herds. JV is trapped in the corner, and the fire will spread. Are you going to get hit?
He's good.
Oh my goodness, that is unlucky for Shinka. As JV manages to wait out the flames in the corner of Library upstairs, taking no damage from the Captain Tower arrow.
So much time and utility wasted here from JV. And he can sit here again because he has to do nothing. And Shinka team kills P4 on this single library window.
I don't even know what the goal was there, but a sloppy start from Wolves. Now it's B-Boot The man who the content piece prior to this matchup going on was highlighting.
Yeah.
Lots of munition there for Rise. What a dilapidating start for Wolves. W7M clobbers them every single step of the way. Nicely played by JV in the corner, and it's round 1 going in favor of the Brazilian team.
That's just a head scratcher of the round, right? Because like nothing really made a whole lot of sense. Nothing went the right way for Wolves, and well, W7M, they get a bit of a freebie on the board to open things up. And these first couple opening rounds is of course going to set the tone and the pace of the following things to come. And it's not looking too pretty right now if you're Wolves, but it is Chalet. And normally we do see attackers being the favorite side, but again, it all comes down to execution. If you have a nasty defense with good aggression and teamwork and coordination, you can get 3 to 4 defensive rounds, definitely. However, you are usually in a position where if you're starting on attack, you're expected to get at least 3 rounds on the board. Still possible, of course, but rough beginnings. Mirror being brought up by W7M on Volps. He's going to put those, or at least one of those mirror nodes upstairs. It seems as one is downstairs in the basement itself, where the bomb site is currently located. It's going to be a roam game extension to the dining, kitchen area. Try and contain some of that map control so that the roamers can run around the map more freely and have like a safe area that can kind of be like the main hub. That dining hatch being opened up also indicates that this is the area where you can fall back to the bomb site safely if the roam would be under attack. Leave with his switch drone, denying the default camera and getting down that main fireplace stair to see if there's anything on it to stop them for a rush potentially. There is a Banshee, so it can't quite rush if we got 3 members outside the breach. This glass kind of indicates a possible direct attack. We'll see what to do. There are 4 smokes, 2 grenades, a wall gets opened up. Diffuser is of course there on Shinka as well. We're gonna take it slow, drone it out, no rush is happening.
A bit of a sluggish start now. 30 seconds off of the clock. Heading upstairs, clear out anybody who might be playing on the top floor. We know that there's somebody up there. It's KZ up there yet again. JV was up there before. KZ means that somebody from W7M will hold this part of the map. And look at that. KZ just had too many targets to go after. Mowgli on the hunt gets the very first kill.
So aggressive as well. I mean, Mowgli does not stop, right? Had to join his feet, had a teammate to help him. C4 comes out, doesn't do any damage. Hurts alone here on the library side. Kind of cut off in his rotation by the member of Shinga. But no, it's GDN who finds Mowgli with that SMG-11. Low on HP, but he stays alive.
Well, W7M at least got that answer back after losing KZ. KZ is going to be one of the top-rated performers for this team if all goes according to plan. Was it yesterday? Herds and KZ, I think, were the 2 that were competing for the top. But don't ever count out JV either.
You also have both Shinga and Bibu tied first in clutches after the first 2 games.
Oh.
Both sitting on 2 apiece, and before this tournament in the EUL, they're also basically sitting at the top of the EUL standings in clutches too. So they just keep up that trend, both domestically and internationally.
Good stat to be telling the viewers.
Yeah, those are statistics. Those ones that we have on hand to use and talk about.
It's been a very quiet match so far.
It has.
This round in particular, very slow, 1 minute to go. Wolves dotting their I's, crossing their T's, getting themselves in a better position. Rise sitting at the breach as a glass.
They got 6 smoke grenades actually they could use here. There goes the first one.
That's correct. Nitro cell in hand, Volps will get smoked out. If he peeks, he will be destroyed by the glass. That is an almost certainty. But look at this, P4 coming in from a separate angle. Bibu takes down GDN. This is where this bomb site begins to get a little bit claustrophobic, Nick. Rise in the midst of the bomb site. P4 taking some damage. Now it's Shinka to plant, but they haven't dislodged Volps yet. He is very easy to dispatch Shinka. Volps will swing again. Another for his name. Could he get a third? Oh my goodness, it's JV to get the final kill. Suddenly, Wolves are just standing there and they feed themselves 1 by 1 to W7M.
Bit messy, and the one thing we can take away from that is that P4 on Ana was on the fireplace stairs, and Bibu on Twitch was on blue stairs. But Bibu had the smokes, not P4, and the glass, of course, is in the breach. So if you were to rotate P4 from the fireplace stairs to the blue stairs, and take Bibu from the blue stairs back to fireplace stairs, you get an extra set of smoke grenades to enable the glass player of Rise to get bomb site cover, especially against that mirror window, because Bibu did die with both smoke grenades in his pocket, and that's gonna cost them, and that's what they did. 2-0 now for W7M. They're going to master bedroom bomb site third, not going to go to kitchen. So this is a bit of a uncommon bomb site rotation. Most teams, they have the lowest preference rate of this master bedroom bomb site. It's just a very, very easy one to attack for the attack inside. You go library over, you breach the office wall in towards the A bomb site, and then you just kind of plant. That's what most teams do, and it's so hard to hold library, especially with Asami being banned off by W7M themselves. So let's see if the Wolves can get their first attacking round on this bomb site attack.
Wolves have just been playing really sluggishly, and this was a point that we made yesterday in their games as well, is that Wolves are usually known for being so aggressive. Mowgli and Bibu are a good 1-2 punch to get into the building. But Mowgli had some struggles on a couple of those maps that we saw from Wolves yesterday, at least on one of them, where his entry stats trailed behind what we're used to seeing in EUL. They're up against a much tougher opponent yesterday, statistically, than they were, or today than they were yesterday. How can they rise to that occasion? So far, they haven't been able to rise to the occasion at all because W7M have taken both these rounds, and have done so in pretty triumphant fashion.
Against Gaming Gladiators on Oregon, where Mowgli had a hard time with the entry, but since then, against both OXG and that last previous round, Mowgli is finding his confidence again on the entry point. Now, throwing at his feet, getting that reload in, all 100 bullets ready to go if a gunfight were to occur.
A bomb has been located.
He's going to take a little bit of map control, hold on to the flank as well in case anybody comes for it. The Twitch drone doing good work, taking out the mirror window inside the closet towards master bedroom. And it's not going to be that library default attack that we mentioned earlier. It's going to be a Solarium trophy attack instead. Nades below that can be utilized. Same similar story though for the defenders. It's hard to hold on to any of this ground because it's a long range combat. And look at this. JDN stuck in a corner in the bathtub. And that's really all you have on the side of the map. And if he doesn't, stay in the bathtub, he can get grenaded out. So no real good positions here. He does have 2 aces in the top itself, but yeah, he's stuck there.
Herds has taken some damage so far. Very, very low on HP. Again, a very slow start to this one. First kill goes on to Herds, and that's Mowgli to get it for Wolves. Again, we pointed out how the entry for Wolves was not that strong, and this has been Wolves really struggling to get in the building, really struggling to make something happen. And they're just taking their time.
They really
down to the
are.
1 minute mark, and there have been no fireworks really whatsoever in any of these 3 rounds. Feels like we're back in the old 20-second meta, or, dare I say it, it feels like the old Vitality, where they would wait until the final 30 seconds and then things would go off. Down goes P4. W7M gets an answer back. Read well by Rise, though. Giving his position away over by the bathroom. They still haven't been able to shake the Jaeger out of the tub. Playing inside of it. Clean as a whistle. Will decide to engage Mowgli. Maybe not the best idea. Down he goes, but so does Bibu. Still an advantage for Wolves in a 3v2 with 30 seconds left to go. Shotgun out for Volps, playing on that tight corner. Wants to be maybe a bit farther back. You don't necessarily want to engage with a shotgun at that range, but with the SMG-11, you can do some nasty things, and that's nastiness done to Rise. Shin getting the diffuser down. Mowgli will need to cover. Both players from W7M still upright. There you go, around the corner. Mowgli sees him, but it's a peek. The Adrenal Surge will get Mowgli back up off the ground. JV92 can't do it, and there's the Nitro Cell to go off. But he can't get to the diffuser planter in time, can he? Yes, he can with the sidearm. What a comical end to the round.
No.
Wolves are down 3-0. W7M running up the score here.
I respect it. JV sprinted for an extra 2 seconds because he had to close the distance with that secondary shotgun being such a weak weapon to do body damage with. But he got it. He got the injure, got the finish, and then got the defuse as well. And Wolves, you're correct, Parker. They're playing so slow.
So slow.
Not scared because they get in the building really quickly. Like Mowgli had the opening kill, they had trophy control, kitchen control, but then nothing happened for about 2 minutes straight, or a minute and a half, and then it falls apart. It's really a different Wolves today that we're seeing, and I'm curious if it's because the W7M are a hard opponent to read, both from watching their games and their VODs previously, and from being in the server with them. It was Troy Canadian from Dark Zero who said, at the Chalet Major, despite W7M playing online with ping, obviously they're a bit tilted with the current situation of visa issues, etc. They were by far the hardest opponent that Dark Zero thought that they had played against at the Chalet Major. They thought that W7M was a better team, or a stronger team, than Astralis, who made it to the Grand Finals. And that's why so many teams that are now here facing W7M for the first time are like, what's happening? What's going on? How do we beat these guys? Because no one is really able to, at least in a dominant fashion.
There you have the probabilities of these teams making it out of the group stages into the playoffs starting on Friday. 90% for the Wolves if they win, W7M at 95%. And yes, I do believe that the blue circle around the probability means that they can win on their own and their destiny is in their own hands. So
yes, I believe so.
If W7M wins this matchup and then wins their next match, I believe that's good enough for them to get out of the groups, which is what that blue circle means.
Nice. It's gone, 6 in hand. ADS clear. Key is that Casaberry to enable the longer line of sight from that big window rappel. Volps putting down ADS, fortifying this position. 2 shields, front and back, and 3 members clustered up in this single corner, basically. With another member down below. It's going to be W7M playing close together, and Wolves have to pick this apart. ADS by ADS, shield by shield. And they need to do it quicker than last time, otherwise I think a similar trend will follow. Limited utility, 1 flashbang and 3 grenades left, so these ADSs are hard to clear. And no real utility can be used in this position as Rise with the Sophia charges is so far off the location, can't quite help it. It's not a slow beginning for Wolves.
Oh no, it's a trade though to start things off. Again, another slow round. First kill comes in halfway through the map, but Wolves have the upper hand. They did in the previous round, didn't really matter all that much. Things will go from bad to worse for W7M as another piece of the puzzle gets removed from play. You play puzzle games, I guess? Nice shot from Volps, by the way.
So, this is one of the areas where I'm like, Wolves got a 4 versus 2 and they're in a great position. They got actually a fair bit of time left, but then Mowgli, a little bit too aggressive, overextends and gets that 1 versus 1 unnecessarily. When you have a significant man advantage, like a 4 versus 2, you should expect your opponents, and I think Mowgli did expect it, he just lost the gunfight, but you gotta put yourself in a position where you can't just die like that for free, but it might not matter. Beeble, storming to the side, no real help nearby, Wolves onto another.
Alright, Volps will just come up West Main right now, and like that, a nice pickup. And he's pretty much good to go. He can rotate back around, and he can indeed run. It's a 1v2. Look at the HPs on the board for Wolves. A couple bullets from the carbine of Volps. He could very easily win this one! Oh my goodness! He will need the ace clutch. 10 kills for Volps. Shinka's in a great spot to counter this, though. That's the real question. Volps doesn't really have a ton of intel. He's going to be playing blind. Spam pinged. They know where he is, but he doesn't know where they are. All he needs is a single shot. Can he control the recoil around it? He's got the injure! What an incredible ace from Volps and the diffuser to boot. Can anybody stop W7M?
11, 1, and 2 on the board. And Wolves, it's a tough position to be in because you are losing rounds you should be winning. And I want to go back to when Mowgli died in that 4 versus 2. That made that a 3 versus 2 essentially for Wolves because, again, once you have the lead, you got to put yourself in a safe position where either you get traded out or you gain something with either the information of where the enemy is or what you can do in that position. That wasn't really utilized. He fell for free. Mowgli was off the board. And that one member that they didn't have available all of a sudden, it mattered so much more. 20-second timeout left here as Wolves have to talk things through, and I'm sure this is going to be like an anti-tilt conversation to say, guys, what's going on? Get back into the game. This is not how we play normally. We can do so much better, but we got to get in the server right now. Look at the scoreboard. 11, 1, and 2 for Volps. Second top gunner, JV on 5 and 2, 1, and 0 kills on Hertz. Essentially on the scoreboard, it's a 4 versus 5, but we're 4-0 in round score. Ridiculous numbers right now.
I mean, something's gone wrong for Wolves here.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm not even trying to downplay W7M's success. We said this in the matchup against Gaming Gladiators yesterday.
Yeah.
It's not that Gaming Gladiators were suddenly the best team in their group. I mean, Gaming Gladiators are no slouch at all, and they were not a bad team. But just, if you go back and you watch Wolves through most of EUL, and then you watch their matchup against Gaming Gladiators yesterday, it's very clear that Wolves are not playing Siege up to their own standards, irrespective of their opponent. This matchup in particular, W7M is crushing them, absolutely crushing them. And I mean, it's not like Wolves are playing terrible. They're not playing good. This is not a good match for Wolves. But W7M looks so formidable. I mean, the kills tell the whole story. Look at that. 8 kills for somebody who's not named Volps in the server right now. 11 kills for Volps.
Yep, that's true. I like to think of W7M as like kind of like the new FaZe clan, if you will, where they got the LATAM aggression and explosiveness when they need to. Really good gunshots, etc. Good players individually, but they have that structure of like European teams. They play together, they understand where the strongholds are, what corners are good, what shields are good to reinforce and play around. But again, with the LATAM aggression, that's the big difference. For example, KC, Volps, and Hertz. Those 3 members always so lethal on their individual rounds. Always have moments of brightness in every single matchup.
And I mean, does JV win this one
he's
again?
Good
yes,
again.
He does. It's the Vase. They're trying to get rid of him.
Well, my just called it.
No.
That's terrible.
Excellent setup from W7M here. Really excellent setup to keep him alive and waste a ton of time. And wasting time is really, frankly, the name of the game. P4 will have to vault in and engage in a duel against a DMR that will kill you in 2 hits. That's not where you want to be. Do they just ignore him for now? One thing I did want to note is that with W7M playing the way they are, Nick, they've done so on every single bomb site.
Oh, that's
there
nice.
Goes JV. P4 vaults in the window, and down he goes. Herds was not there to get the cross. Now it's Herds to duel with the Finka. Not exactly the gun that you want to have to battle against.
It's a beautiful execute there. Smoke the drone hole to block down something below, jumps in, baits the angle, gets the kill for free. Hertz stuck between a rock and a hard place, no backup here. That's an easy kill for Mowgli. And now Wolves again in a position of an advantage, but it gets traded back and forth. Mowgli finds another though. It's a 4v2.
This is going to be a battle of the carries. Mowgli versus Volps, could it be? KZ now, next one in the line of fire, and he gets away with the fastest operator in the game. Repositioning, nearly beheading Rise, who will make his way out of office. KZ is found out, or GDN is found out, and is as good as dead. That leaves KZ last one. 3 kills from Mowgli. Wolves finally get on the board after their timeout.
They need that. Need that so badly, because 4-1 starting attack, even going 4-2 if Wolves finds this final round and a half, is still not a good position to be in.
That body language tells an awful lot. They win,
yeah,
and they're still fighting.
It's a lot to go, you know? And those rounds that they lost earlier, crucial rounds that they had the advantage that they should have won, but then didn't. It's hard to mentally stay in the server and come back from this, but it is possible. And Wolves, they are a team that has veteran players on the roster. We always talk about it. Bibu and Rise should be in a position to take this team forward in a good mental position, even though they're down 1-4 on this 6th round.
I want to remind you, while this matchup is going on, that there is another game currently being played. Mandy and Dev are casting it on the B stream, which is not the worst stream, as I joked earlier on.
Just a lesser good stream.
No.
Yes.
They're the same streams.
Okay.
Sonics and Sandbox are playing against one another. These are the 2 teams that are at the bottom of their group.
Attackers are heading
They
out.
desperately need to start putting up points in order to catch the front runners. Oh no.
Okay.
Oh thank God.
I blame Hertz for that, because he jumped out, then it happened.
Ah, yes, of course.
Yes.
I saw some minor artifacting and was like, oh no, not border.
Not border.
Not the border symptom.
The border accident.
Yeah. Anyway, it's the final defense for W7M. They have made mincemeat of Wolves so far. Toothless Wolves, it looks like.
Clawless Wolves, too.
No claws, no teeth.
Yeah,
That's a household cat. That's actually not true. Household cats can be quite vicious.
and they also have claws and teeth. So, yeah.
Don't declaw your pets. There you go. There's my piece of advice for you. Nice kill from Mowgli. He's really warming up right now. KZ goes down on a roam, and this has been a very bad first half for KZ. A quiet first half for some of the players on this team. Both Herds and KZ they tend to be towards the top of the standings. Right now they have a combined single kill, but that's because Volps.
He's taking them all.
He's been hoarding them all.
Absolutely. But yes. Also, Wolves actually getting opening kill or a fast trade in most of these rounds. So it's not like Wolves are playing from a disadvantage. Normally, they find themselves in an advantageous position, just like they are right now. That's going to force someone like Wolves to try and get that man count back by swinging out these doors and taking aggressive gunfights. And right now, that's not quite going in his favor because Mowgli has that LMG in hand and can just keep on shooting and deny that free fire.
Well, you can see a fallback now from W7M. Wolves have really picked up the tempo in comparison to previous rounds with a minute and a half just passed in the round. Also, that Nitro Cell ready to rip. There it goes. Mowgli's down. That's a single kill from it. That's more than enough.
Disgusting.
There could have been multiple. Instead, the breach gets opened up. But the hottest hand for Wolves is no more.
Nope. Gino Surge is gone, Nate's gone, Gonzig's gone as well, which means a lot of utility lost here for the side of Wolves. Still got nades on P4. Gotta get this second wall open up. There it goes. EP comes out. That should do it. Impacts on the pocket of Herds, but can be used against a thermic charge, so that's not gonna make it any difference at all. No shields really in these stronghold positions, so it's going to be a naked battle between guns here between these two teams. There's one shield, it allows to rotate, but it's going to be gone quite soon, I reckon.
And there goes the shield as you called it. Wolves have 2 avenues into the bomb site and go through either portion of Wine. Brief flash goes in. Shinka will attempt the plant. Out goes the Goyo explosive, and some damage is done to Shinka, but then the diffuser attempted for a second. The toxic canister will shake P4 off of this. Rise gets downed. Bibu is there as well, still upright. He's next to P4. These are the last 2 players of Wolves, as Shinka is no more. W7M in commanding position, a nice shot onto P4. It's Bibu, but not enough time to do anything with it. And that's W7M taking the first half 5-1.
5-1.
Wow, what a dominant set of rounds.
Yeah, almost can't get more dominant. I mean, 6-0 in as close of a group stage as it's been so far. The opposites that's happened, of course, with Wolves and W7M going head-to-head. You would never expect a 5-1 scoreline in either direction, especially on Chalet. Maybe we're talking theme park and a team starts on attack, kind of like G2 Sonics happened, where it's just a very defender-sided map. Sure, 5-1 is possible. Then once the side swap comes through, it kind of evens out. But going on the defensive side, as Wolves are now on Chalet, is typically where you start to lose more rounds than on the attack, if anything. But as I said earlier, it comes down to execution. And Wolves' execution on their attacking side wasn't particularly successful. That's why they were not finding that success in those rounds. Perhaps the defensive half can do better, right? Whether it's playing more together, playing more aggressive, finding opening kills, or maybe even if W7M themselves have a bit of a rough time on their attacking side, that's all the Wolves really need to find these rounds and make it happen for this comeback. But there's a lot of rounds to go, and every single small mistake can be punished, and that's going to cost you match point if just one more round goes in favor of W7M.
When you find 2 teams like this, every mistake will likely be punished in some capacity. The smallest of mistakes, and they will be punished over and over and over again. And I think that's what really does set a lot of these top teams and lower teams in the standings from each other.
Absolutely.
Is that you can see teams that are playing at a pro level, but are not the upper echelon of their region, they're going to make a whole heap of mistakes. Neither team is going to be able to capitalize off of that. And as we as casters, we tend to focus on the bad that happens because there can be a lot of it, and they can be really detrimental to the success of a team. Nice shot by Rise, by the way, as we're talking about that. Pre-fire from Herds, not good enough. He's 1-7. 1-7 on Herds to 1-5 on KZ. Thank God you've got Volps, because this could be a very different story. Let's not ignore JV, though. JV's had some very clutch moments for the team.
Yes.
There have also been times where both Herds and KZ have wasted a lot of time or wasted a lot of utility, and that's allowed the rest of the team to flourish. And even if KZ is dying, taking 2 minutes off of the clock, eating a lot of drones, and then ultimately going 1-5, yeah, that's not great, but you're still setting up the rest of your team for success.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point I was making just before we get into this, when you have a top team, or 2 top teams battling each other, the smallest of mistakes will be punished, and that's what really sets them apart. Both Wolves and W7M are those teams to do that. They will punish you if you screw up.
I like this. There's a defender opening up the door, but Wolves walks on in. 14 kills to his name. P4 reads it, sees it, walks away instead. Plays in this corner of Westman on that alibi prism in the window. Rise finds his second kill in the round onto JV, line off the table. And Rise really just saying, I'm awake, man. I'm getting my kills right now.
There's a nade from below. Is it going to connect onto Rise?
No! Casey?
You know what I bet happened?
Oh.
You know what I bet happened? Wolves.
If he can hit the window
Wolves
frame?
when they're around. I'm going to say I bet he probably botched where it was going on the window.
Oh.
And it hit him instead. That would be my speculation. Second round for the Wolves, on the board.
convincing round as well. Very convincing.
Very convincing round. They've already used their timeout. They picked up 2 of the last 3 rounds since that. This could just be a very defender-sided Chalet. We'll see. One thing that I want to touch on is Wolves are actually winning the opening duel battle quite handily.
Yes, they are.
And yet they are still losing by a huge margin. So even though W7M are getting killed first, round after round after round, it matters not. Because W7M are still better through the mid-round, and that's where I think Wolves have the most problems. They dawdle, they dither, which is a word that we used yesterday, dithering.
Dawdle and dithering.
Double Ds. Everybody loves the double Ds, right? Dawdling and dithering.
Dawdling, dithering. Yep.
There you go.
Oh my
10
god.
seconds remaining.
Sounds like the B stream might have some action.
Sandbox versus Sonics it's occurring right now on the B stream.
You guys can check it out as well.
Attackers are
Get a
moving
multi-stream
to the
going, see both at the same time. Over here, we might see some fancy pants stuff because we got Sense on the board from Wolves. Sense's play rate at the major, incredibly low. But on Chalet and Bank, 2 maps where we might see this upper being played out, if we're lucky, which we are right now. Nuke also being picked up from Hertz, so he can try and start lurking around. Casey, of course, still looking for his kills on the finger now. Trying to get more aggressive perhaps and find those. We'll see if Dokkaebi can try and find a phone to hack here at some point in the round. Hertz right now could enable that deep inside the building right now inside a trophy. He has teammates, no enemies nearby, of course. Can walk up the staircase and take further map control. No real droning going on right now from W7M. They're so far ahead of the pack right now, so they know all this is clear, which means Hertz can sprint on in and just secure this area. Mowgli, with a nice clean one-tap, takes Wolves off the board. Top Gunner and Sense is gone from the round. W7M probably not very happy about that.
Another first blood for Wolves, add it to the tally on this bar defense on the main floor. That's where things must be getting very frustrating for W7M. You were tantalizingly close to match point. KZ gets a pick onto Mowgli as Mowgli decides to swing. That was a bit of an ego challenge. I also think it was a bit of a challenge for Intel, and I don't think he was expecting W7M to fire back as hard as they did, but I mean, hey. This is W7M you're talking about.
It's true.
So dominant in their own region, so dominant in CES. It is really a shame we didn't get to see their full potential at Charlotte, but now they're here in Berlin and they're making up for lost time.
They are sending a message and a statement about their capabilities as a team and the individual players as well. We do have Pog Mats, aka Frost Mats, on the board. I'm curious if W7M are aware of this situation. Flashbangs, nades come out. That's going to be the telltale sign for Rise to get out of there. Takes a bit of damage, but stays alive. 50 seconds left. It's 4v4. It is very close.
Herd's taking some damage. That's about it. Rise is now lower as well. Herd's upstairs next to the Finca. There goes a logic bomb. It's the last one that's tossed out by the Dokkaebi. Brief window into the soul of Wolves, at least sound-wise, as to where they could be. P4 playing off of West Main. And there's an advance back. Those Banshees giving JV's position away. What a nice play on Nabibu. A second target is in the back. And KZ has 2 kills, but Shinka will have to fight for his life. How many can he drag down before he himself is silenced? Is a clutch possible? Yes, it is, but no, it doesn't happen. The possibility of it does not mean it will come to fruition. And the final kill goes to W7M. They're on match point, Nick.
This is where things get very tough. Timeout already burdened by Wolves. Match point as well. And you gotta find 4 rounds back to back to back to back just to go T, then fight another 3 rounds potentially to try and get that victory. You need 2 of those 3 rounds to find the dub. Wolves say the potential final bombs that they get to defend is master bedroom. This is again a bomb site that is a bit tough to defend due to how it plays out. Vertically speaking, nades below can be quite lethal on the trophy side. Library side, it's hard to hold. No Asami on the table, no Mirror on the table right now for Wolves. They have an Echo, which is great if the W7M are going to run low on time, but that hasn't really been how they've been approaching the map so far. They're rather fast to get into the building, and Wolves also aren't really spreading out all that far to slow them down any further. The round victories that Wolves has is when someone pops off and finds multiple kills. Normally, right now, that's been Rise and it's been Mowgli. But if they don't find those killing sprees, normally W7M, they have no issue with time.
By the way, the blue circles around the numbers means that they can qualify today.
Yes.
Yes, that's what it means.
Yes.
So, in case you're curious, the blue circle means that today they can accomplish
one.
it. Bibu runs out, takes a huge gamble. He gets herds, but KZ with his 4th kill in the last round. Well, I guess round and a half at this point, technically. If we're being pedantic.
Not a full round.
Firing up. Herds is still having a bad match, 1-8. Not the scoreline that you want from him, but that's all right. The rest of the team is doing mighty fine.
I was gonna say, if you trade Bibu for Hertz, technically that's worth it if you're W7M because you're trading 1 and 8 for 6 and 6. Just numbers speaking here. Either way, it's a tied-up series, 4 versus 4. You can argue that Jaeger being dead means that ADS is already down the ground, so that value is already there for the defenders, whereas Sophia's utility and the LMG is gone from the round. So on the other spectrum, you can argue that Bibu, he got the better half of it.
Now, I know that these teams have traded out kills for this round, but right now it's 27-30 in terms of frags, Nick, which really is much closer than a 6-2 scoreline would suggest. 27 kills for Wolves, 30 kills for W7M. Usually we see a much larger gulf between these teams, but another part of it is that there's been a couple rounds that were won just based off of time. Kill the diffuser, planter, and you get enough time. There's still some people alive at the end of it.
All right. W7M going for that default library attack, wall open up, but Mowgli finds another onto Volb. So Mowgli and Bibu, both from entering the prep phase, both showing up so far, finding those sprees of kills that they need, but W7M, they still got tools in their pocket, still got the nades and the smokes that can go on in and try and plant the bomb down.
Diffuser being shepherded in by GDN, a grenade goes off. Adrenal surges there too. GDN takes so much damage from the smoke. That's ill-timed. KZ and JV, the last two upright, but they're wiped out by P4. And it's a 3rd round for Wolves as they need to claw their way back into this match.
Yep. Rounds are slowly building up for Wolves, but again, one mistake and it's all over. 3 more rounds needed to go to OT. There is plenty of opportunities for W7M to find what they need. But of course, they gotta act accordingly and find those, create them themselves. And I do want to say that Wolves are doing a good job at just making it hard for W7M to get that 5 versus 5 executed they so desire. Because every single round in the first 20 seconds, someone's going crazy on Wolves. Bibu jumping out a window, Rise swinging a window to pre-fire. They're just taking every single early engagement, really playing for that opening kill aggressively, and then they play backwards. They play on those defensive shield setups, and they played nice and slow and played nice and tight as well. And it's a really good way to make W7M struggle because they get early pressure in the first minute. Then they gotta slow down, check every single corner, drone it out. They gotta fear this aggression from Wolves because they keep getting punished from it. That buys Wolves so much time on the board while they're just sitting on side laughing and waiting for something to happen with all these shields. In this round, 2 again. P4 and Alibi and Rise on the Thorn. They get 1 each a pop. Gonna get impacts on Bibu and Shinga to do either some vertical destruction and of course gonna do player damage if you're to throw that Pokeball towards the opponent's body. W7M with a similar lineup. Twitch right now being the one differentiating factor. Volb's kind of 6-picking or Taggery-picking round by round.
Well, we have a second here. Nick, if you were a Pokemon, what Pokemon would you be?
The penguin one, whatever that one's called.
Empoleon?
I
Or
don't.
Piplup?
I think Piplup is the one,
Piplup
right?
is the little one. You'd be the first stage of the evolution. You wouldn't be the better, like, 3rd stage.
Well, don't say better. I'm the younger. That's all.
Okay.
It's age back. Levels are age. That's how I see it.
Ah, yes.
You'd be like a 100, like level 100 dragon or something. And the green dragon from the red game. I don't know what it's called.
The green dragon from the red game.
Yeah. Do you know?
Green dragon is Rayquaza. Are you talking about Dragonite from the original game?
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway. Pokemon talks for another time. We've got a match to talk about here, and
Ruby.
again.
That's the one.
Okay.
Sapphire and Ruby.
It is Rayquaza.
Oh, okay.
You're correct.
Nice.
Again, slow entry, but it's not Wolves who are doing it this time. It's W7M taking their sweet time, realizing that The next 3 rounds must be won by Wolves to toss them into overtime. You saw the stakes. They've been shown on the screen a number of times.
It's a good nade. Falls to the
It's a
position.
really nice nade. Both kills to start off the round come from W7M. Just when you need them to get first blood, they start to put some tallies, kills on the board. Another nade will go in from Herds. Nade goes down below him. I don't know exactly where that nade was supposed to go, but who knows. GDN takes out Mowgli. There goes JV, but KZ takes down Shinka, leaving Rise in a 1v4. That's not looking good for Wolves. They're going to have a hard reset after this matchup because W7M are a single kill away from all 3 points, and they get it. On to Rise, W7M makes quick work of the top team out of Europe. 7-3 the scoreline for W7M. They're now 3-0 on the day and within striking distance of being one of the first teams to qualify for the playoffs on Friday.
That they are in a great position here. 3-0, Wolves at the board, and GG. That's all I can say.
Brazil has really showed up at this event, as have some of the APAC teams. Some of EU, I suppose, as well. But W7M really leading the way for their region. And as I said, making up for lost time. That's it for this matchup. We're going to toss to an ad break, and then we'll come back and talk about what exactly went down between Wolves and W7M. Sit tight.
Right to leave Rainbow. We are stronger than we've ever been, and our new recruits legitimize us in the eyes of many skeptics. What is a high price tag when success is guaranteed? Our results speak for themselves and give us leeway to operate as we wish. The world is not designed to foster talent. Fall in line. Do what is expected of you. In my life, I've often found that the great rarely fit traditional standards. When you confine excellence, it suffocates.
Ace, wall down in 5. Selma out. Vinka, prepare for a rush. Adriano!
In removing these restraints, I have redefined what an operational unit can be.
Forward, now! Go, 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 go!
Some might see us as selfish and opportunistic. Let them. Nighthaven will leave them in the dust as we saw.
Welcome back, everybody. You might be wondering what happened in that matchup, and well, the scoreline tells pretty much the whole story. It was utter domination strategically by W7M, even if the kill tallies were a little bit closer than a 7-3 scoreline would suggest. Either way, the Brazilian powerhouse close it out in regulation, pick up 3 huge points, and have all but secured their spot in the playoffs for Friday, but are not quite there yet.
But they're getting close. And they're sending a statement, taking out Wolves in such fashion. And also, the pacing of that Chalet map was so unlike any other Chalet game we've seen, because normally we're talking explosiveness, aggressiveness, etc., like a border or a coastline matchup. But this was much more of like a chess game almost between these two teams. Striking once, chilling back, surveying the land, then striking again. So, yeah, if you're watching the VOD and you saw this, if you saw it live, for that matter, very peculiar Give us Chalet.
Very peculiar is correct. And we were actually talking about this during the break, and we can bring up the group standing for you here and see, because you're probably wondering what the lay of the land looks like.
Ooh.
One of the weirdest paced matches that I think you and I have ever casted,
Yeah.
and one of the weirdest paced matches that we've seen at this entire event, especially for two teams that are known for being so explosive. One thing I will say, though, to W7M's credit, not to take this away from Wolves, is that the hallmark of W7M for so long was how good they are on defense. Employing a bit unorthodox and really aggressive roams. We saw that with the way that JV was playing in the corner as a Rooney
Yes.
with the magnets above her so that they could catch the Capitao fire arrows that you knew that the Wolves were prepared for, but W7M was equally prepared to battle for. So this is what you look like at the groups, by the way. 9 points for W7M, 5 points for Wolves. Gaming Gladiators 1, OXG 0.
Yeah.
So there's a pretty big gulf between the haves and the have-nots right now. Not unlike the economical problems that... I'm just kidding. No, but seriously. The rich are getting richer, and it's W7M.
Oh, no.
Who's rich?
Rich they are. I mean, they got so many points.
Yes.
But they're going to keep them to themselves, because why would the rich share the wealth, right?
Correct.
Correct.
W7M are a single win away from making it out of the groups in the right direction and towards the playoffs on Friday. The window for OXG to make it out of groups is closing very, very fast, because as far as I'm aware, from my math,
Okay.
there's only 2 more games to go for OXG after today. If OXG are not capable of getting 3 points today, if they rely on all 6 tomorrow and Wolves win once today, that's it. OXG is knocked out. Not ideal.
That's wild.
North America's having a bit of a stinker here.
They are.
Yeah.
It's about time that EU's back on top, even if it means Latin joins them. I'm okay with that.
You sell out our region? He even said he was an American the other day.
Yeah, I am more American than European at this point in time.
Not correct.
But not.
Do you have an American passport?
I have a visa for America.
I have an American visa as well.
Nice.
Mine actually lasts longer than you, so I'm more American than you
Oh,
are.
okay.
I win. That's it for that matchup. We got more to go, though. There's still 5 more games here on the A stream. The B stream's ongoing as well. It doesn't sound like their match is still in progress, but if you want to hop over there at any point, feel free to do so. That's twitch.tv/Rainbow6. Bravo. In the interim, a break before we get things underway with our 4th match. We'll be back in just a moment.